I think I kind of like it, and I'm mad, but I think I kind of like it.
We're entering our flop era.
Shit's bleak out here. All right.
18 plus. Who wants to get milked?
It's kind of quality we have here. Debate this.
I need the edge. I need what the raw, unfiltered internet can bring you.
This is probably only going to be the third or fourth dumbest thing I've said today.
That's for nobody.
Just out there raw dogging the internet.
Way more hog than I expected.
It's about as much hog as I anticipated.
This is going to be one of those episodes, isn't it?
Here comes the cow. Here comes the cow.
All right, let's get this over with so we can play Magic.
Hello and welcome to Debate This, the show where no one is right, but someone is definitely wrong. In this show, we take time out of our busy adult lives to talk about comic books, video games, and how Thanos may be the next villain of Marvel Rivals, as NetEase has laid off about 50% of their staff this week. Making a joke because...
That's the joke.
Yeah, because it's bad. It sucks.
It's real bad.
A game that I think has been absolutely nothing but successful since its launch, laid off their entire San Francisco staff and the game director here halfway through the second season of the game, which sucks.
So they really are competing with Blizzard. Great.
Yes. Yeah. But Thanos, 50%. Anyway, hey, video game movies. If we're being honest, they've had a really good couple of years. You may need to ignore your Borderlands and your Uncharted's, but we will.
And that
was Uncharted bad?
Yeah, did anyone even see that? I don't remember that coming out.
No, that's the joke.
That's really the joke.
Okay.
The reviews I saw was just like, it's fine.
I honestly haven't seen it, and I don't know anyone who has, so.
All right.
I'm almost positive it hit streaming, and it was one of those movies you watch and fall asleep.
Yeah. I think the best
It's
review...
a sleep app.
It's a sleep app.
The best review of it I saw, I think, did say it was like just a boring Indiana Jones, which isn't a bad thing.
Uncharted is kind of boring Indiana Jones. I've played Uncharted.
True. That's pretty much what the game is.
Yeah.
Hey, anyway, so the last 5 years have given us the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, a surprisingly good Super Mario Brothers movie, cult classics like Five Nights at Freddy's and Mortal Kombat, and if you count Docs, a really good Gran Turismo movie. Over on the TV side, The Last of Us, Fallout, Twisted Metal, and Secret Level have shown that there really is a market for media based on video games beyond Illumination Studios.
That sentence was the best way to positively spin Twisted Metal and Secret Level feedback.
Yeah.
I watched one episode of Twisted Metal and thought it was pretty cool, but I'm not going to pay for Peacock for it. So
yes.
That's all I have there. I did really like Secret Level. I think Secret Level's great.
Yeah, Secret Level was fun enough.
I really liked Monster Hunter when we watched it. I know no one else likes it.
Monster Hunter, I think, came out in 19.
Yeah.
Was there a Mortal Kombat movie that came out since 2020?
Yeah, it came out on Max.
Yeah, the Max one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's honestly, it's really good. It's really good.
It's good.
I believe you. I just haven't seen it.
So with all this success, it's no surprise that those dastardly execs want our help capitalizing on those dragging coattails. They want us to pitch them a new video game adaptation, and they're open to both movies and limited-run TV series, but they want to make sure this hits. It hurts to admit, but the last 5 years have also given us... I was wrong. I am contradicting myself right now. Have also given us Mila Jovovich's Monster Hunter, Tom Holland's Uncharted, and a Borderlands movie that I am legally required to acknowledge was a movie. So
again, I think Monster Hunter was fun, but I think I'm the only one
saw that.
We all watched it together. We all watched it together on stream.
I was not on that stream.
Okay.
You guys did that one without me.
I also was not.
You don't all get to say that you weren't there.
That stream either.
Shut up. I hate you guys. You guys aren't my friends.
No one was there.
So
I dreamed
to guarantee the success of our adaptations, the execs at Big Movies want us to follow up on one of our more successful mashups. 2 years ago, they asked us to pitch comic book movies, which heavily featured everyone's favorite manually operated felt characters, the Muppets. They want us to recapture that magic. So joining me today are Kyle Fousey Harper, Todd Kermit Thomas, and Andrew Miss Poogie Henderson to pitch the best video game to be adapted into a Muppet movie or limited series?
I know this one. It's the animals or the Moopets. I'm sorry. Animal is the Moopets. It's the
Moopets.
It's the fake Vegas lounge singer knockoff Muppets from the 2011
What?
Wow.
The Muppets movie.
Yeah, fronted by Dave Grohl.
Not
I have
fronted
to say-
by, but Dave Grohl was Animal in that movie.
That's really good. I have to say,
What?
the story arc. So I went and listened to the original Muppets episode yesterday to prepare for this, and the story arc of Matt going from "I've never done a Muppets" to now quoting deep lore from the 2011 Muppets movie is chef's kiss.
Here's my secret, Cap. I Googled fake Muppets when we started this call, and the Moopets were the first thing that came up. I don't think, consumed any Muppet content since we did that last episode.
Sure, I love the narrative that it changed your life so much.
I do
so
too. Yeah,
that you suddenly love the Muppets in libraries.
Exactly. See, we admit it. I love libraries. Now, before we strong arm butts into seats with lovable puppetry, we need to understand the source material. What game are you adapting to a movie or series? Give us the background and anything important worth knowing about the OG game. Kyle, we'll start with you.
Yeah, Matt. So I'm doing a classic, a video game classic, a narrative classic, good versus evil, hero saves the princess. We're doing Ocarina of Time. And I'll tell you why, Matt. I know Illumination is doing their own Legend of Zelda movie that we don't know anything about yet, but we can assume it's going to be either a vague adaptation of a few Legend of Zeldas or Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, whatever new Legend of Zelda is coming out for the Switch 2. However, Ocarina of Time has all the elements I feel that make this a good Muppet property. And that is memorable characters, a straightforward linear story, strong recognizable themes, and if I didn't say it already, memorable crazy characters. You got time travel in there, which adds a fun narrative element. It's just the Muppets and Ocarina of Time feel so right that we're planting our flag in the ground. Illumination, if you're doing Ocarina of Time, pick something else, because we're doing it with the Muppets.
Have the Muppets ever done a time heist? Feels like a missed opportunity.
That is not a question I can answer.
They went to space.
They did go to space. I don't remember if there was time travel in that movie.
I don't think they did a time heist.
Okay.
Yeah.
They did take Manhattan.
They did take
They
Manhattan.
did take Manhattan pretty easily.
Muppets have taken Manhattan.
Okay, I like that idea. I have played as much Ocarina of Time as I have watched Muppets, so I think that I'm definitely coming into this conversation with plenty of knowledge about the source material. Todd, what about you?
Yeah, so in 2005, PlayStation 2 gave us the start of a franchise that honestly no one could have imagined that would persist nearly 20 years later, and that is, of course, God of War. So over a dozen or so games later, because there's been a fuck ton of God of War games, we've got Kratos lore just out the wazoo. So like setting up Kratos, the main character, tricked into murdering his whole family, check. A revenge mission to show up on Ares' front door to take his title as the God of War, you betcha. A storyline that lets you murder Kronos, the god of time and leader of the Titans? Absolutely. People love this franchise, and it's going to force the butts into seats, as you have said. They will be planting butts into seats with this franchise as we now want to follow Kratos as he takes out his vengeance, one uncaring, pompous god at a time. And honestly, outside of the bit of this whole thing, thinking about a God of War movie legit gets me excited because I think this is in fact a good call. I don't know if putting Muppets into it is a good call, but this is a good call.
I gotta be honest, if you would have told me a couple of years ago that they were making an Assassin's Creed movie, I would have said that's a good call. So
fair. You know what, Matt? Balls and strikes, we take them, we call them. That's fair.
Now, before that, Matt, would you have said a Prince of Persia movie was a good call?
I don't want to be in
What
the
a
same
fascinating
category.
question.
I do want to note that I looked that up. I looked up God of War movie, and it has been confirmed about 7 times.
Yeah,
Like
of course.
across the last 20 years. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Every time a Sony movie fails or succeeds, God of War gets greenlit or put back into production hell, depending on
Yeah.
what it did. Like
The 7th layer
No.
of development hell is actually a God of War movie.
No, what we're all thinking of is that Wrath of the Titans movie. That is what we're all thinking about that came out and happened. And this is not that. I want to be clear.
What a pull.
well, yeah, because this one's going to have Muppets in it.
And it's going to be good. The two things that Wrath of the Titans didn't have. No Muppets, no goodness.
Was that the one with Liam Neeson?
Yep,
Yes.
Yes.
sure was.
Yeah,
Yes,
that one
it
was
is.
rough. That one
It
was rough.
was. Okay. I honestly, just the phrase God of War in a conversation about Muppets has me excited to hear how you're going to tie all that together. Andrew, pitch it off. What
Yeah.
game are you suggesting we adapt here today?
Before I get into it, I have to admit, when you said we're going to strong arm butts into seats, I couldn't get over it. We're also going to seat strong arms into butts like puppets.
You put that in the notes, and I almost messed up Kyle's answer because I laughed so hard.
So, Matt, when Super Mario 64 first showed the world how video games could move in 3 dimensions, it inspired many people to think differently. And one of those many people was Hironobu Sakaguchi, a longtime producer at Square Enix, then Squaresoft, and the man most notably lauded as the grandfather of Final Fantasy. And in 1999, Sakaguchi pulled together a small strike team that included his boy Tetsuya Nomura, who was fresh off the cocaine high that was Final Fantasy VIII. And together, they asked the question, how can we make a game to rival that of Mario? The answer, characters. We need popular characters.
Not unlike USA Network.
Not unlike those that are welcome in the USA. So, but Matt, I ask you, outside of the characters of Burn Notice and Suits, who is more popular than Mario? I know one. It's Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse is surely as popular than Mario. And so does Tetsuya Nomura. So soon enough, Nomura finds himself riding an elevator up with the lead executive Disney Japan, and shot is shot. And in late 2002, the fruits of Nomura's labor became real as Kingdom Hearts released to worldwide audiences on the PlayStation 2. That's right, we're talking about Kingdom Hearts. As we did in a flavor text, I'm
Andrew,
not kidding
you promised. You promised.
It's been 6 years.
6 years?
It's been 6 years.
God, that's the same reaction I had when I saw Avengers Endgame in theaters, and they were like 5 years later. I had that same feeling right then.
That Kingdom Hearts flavor text was an entire series of Glee ago.
This podcast has now gone on long enough that we can measure things in,
In Glee.
in glees.
And much like
boy.
how Glee was a marriage of dark comedy, high school antics, and what do you call it? Acapella?
There it is.
So too was Kingdom Hearts. Yes.
So too is Kingdom Hearts, a marriage of Final Fantasy and Disney characters. Kingdom Hearts would create a world where Donald Duck can summon the dragon god Bahamut, and Cloud from Final Fantasy VII can do drills with Phil from Hercules. And also motherfucking Pete from Goof Troop is there. You may remember him.
Cool.
Now with a roster like that, Matt, how can one lose? You've got Final Fantasy meets Disney. East meets East. West meets East. East meets West. Magic the Gathering meets Lorcana. Except there's one problem. We couldn't afford the rights to Mickey and Donald and Goofy, but that's okay. Disney offered us a different property for much, much less. The Muppets. So we're going to do Kingdom Hearts, but with the Muppets instead of Mickey Mouse.
Okay, I kind of like that idea. If we're being really honest, I think I kind of like it, and I'm mad, but I think I kind of like
You
it.
should be.
Okay, so
What if I'm just mad? Can I just be mad?
You have a right to be.
Yeah, it is your
Todd, your
legal right.
emotions are valid no matter what they are.
Thank
So,
Did you guys like the Magic the Gathering meets Lorcana? Do you like that bet?
I did.
Thanks.
anyway,
It's fine.
let's get a little deeper into these pitches. Give us the plot rundown, and let's go ahead and cast this thing. Also, of course, Don't forget the sacred rule of Muppet movies. There is a singular non-Muppet actor. Kyle, kick it off.
Yeah, Matt. So, like I said, Ocarina of Time we're not doing anything new with a story structure here. You've got your hero.
It's a perfect story.
He goes on a journey. He comes back changed at the end. So, quick run through for those of you unfamiliar with this 25-year-old game.
Spoilers.
The hero of time, Link, played by Kermit the Frog,
Sure.
is awakened by a horrible dream, maybe not. Seeing Ganondorf take over Hyrule Castle, exile Princess Zelda, etc., etc. He wakes up. He has to go to the Great Deku Tree to begin his journey. Yada, yada. He gets a magical ocarina that allows him to travel forward in time. Yada, yada. Saves the day.
You yada yada through a lot.
Sure did.
Yeah.
You did yada yada through a lot.
Do we or do we not need to get Todd out of here in half an hour?
That's fair.
All I'm
Fair
saying.
point.
Yes, chef.
A second yada yada has hit the description.
Quick run through of our cast here. So as I said, we have Kermit the Frog playing our hero of time, Link. He is going to be guided through this journey by the fairy Navi, played by Miss Piggy.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Some other notable appearances Legend of Zelda fans may recognize. Beetle the salesman is going to be played by Rizzo the rat. Tingle the fairy is going to be played by Gonzo the Great.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
We're going to have Bunsen Honeydew. Looks and makes a pretty good Happy Mask salesman to me. So that's going to be our Happy Mask salesman. And one thing the Muppets are lacking on is female characters. So
The one major insight from the last time we did this.
yeah, so
true.
with Miss Piggy playing Navi, I have cast Camilla the Chicken as Princess Zelda / Chic.
Okay.
Back on board?
Yeah.
Sure,
yeah.
man.
I mean, you hadn't lost me, but Camilla the Chicken was a deep pull and I Googled it. And now I'm here.
Good. Great.
We've established, spoiler alert for everybody, there are 3 women in the Muppet universe. It's Miss Piggy, Camilla the Chicken, and Janice from Mr. Teeth, Dr. Teeth and the Electric Man.
Precisely.
Yes.
And Janice didn't feel like a Princess Zelda to me. So
No.
and that leaves us, Matt, with our one human actor. And I feel as though the presence of Ganondorf could only be portrayed by our human actor, who I have cast as Dave Bautista. Dave Bautista as Ganondorf in our Muppets Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time movie.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Wig and all.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Link, notoriously a silent protagonist. Kermit, a person that talks. Will
Frog.
Link...
That's
Frog. A frog that talks. Apologies.
Thank you.
Will Link speak in this movie?
Yeah, Matt, I'm glad you asked that. And I was worried about that as well. However, going off the precedent of the Super Mario Brothers movie, Mario also
A
famously
good precedent with a good voice actor.
Mario also famously does not talk in the games, talks in the movie. I don't think it'll be a problem for your average moviegoer.
Okay. One more question then. Just because I know we'll probably need to get one in there for the fans for some service, could you give me a Link, like, famous voice line in a Kermit voice?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Of course.
Can we get another one clean? Just one more?
Yeah.
The way you spiraled your body like a snake.
Comes from deep
Yeah.
within.
It's guttural, yeah.
Yeah, incredible. Okay, Todd, you're up. Give us the cast of your Muppet movie.
Yeah, I want to take a moment to create space for what Kyle just did, because in my mind, I'm like, well, he has to make the Kermit accent while saying, yeah, right? That's what Kyle has to do. So I'm glad that all came to fruition here. Thank you, Kyle, for what you've done.
You're welcome.
Let's get right to business here. So Brett Goldstein will be playing Kratos. I think that like that just
really good.
It feels right. Gruff voice, fit dude, looks good in era appropriate garb, works well with
Famously
Muppets.
portraying Hercules in a Marvel property.
Yes, everyone is well aware of that. It's very important that gulp shitto will come back. I do believe Brett Goldstein has been on Sesame Street, so he does have a track record of working with Muppets or Muppet adjacent creatures. You get it.
Sesame Street is like the X-Men of the Muppets. Like they're kind of there, but they're also not. They live in their own side universe.
Yeah.
They are the Inhumans to the Muppets. X-Men.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah. So, some key castings here. So, for those not familiar, God of War's whole thing is Kratos kicks the ass of every single like god, just one at a time on an adventure. It's great. In the most recent one, he also has his son as a sidekick. So let's start there. So his son Atreyu is going to be portrayed by Pepe the King Prawn. Now, I think that Pepe does not get enough spotlight, so it's important to make him a supporting actor in this story. And I do want to say that an alt casting would have been Sweetums. I think Sweetums would have been fun. Sweetums
the big monster guy.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Alt casting would have been Sweetums. I wanted to go with Pepe, though. I feel like Pepe doesn't get enough face time. Zeus is going to be Kermit. Obviously, that makes sense. Athena, warrior goddess. Miss Piggy. That's not a surprise. Poseidon, Lord of the Seas. That will be the Great Gonzo. Great Gonzo will be Poseidon, Lord of the Seas. And you're asking where's Rizzo and the chickens enter into this. Rizzo the Rat will obviously playing some major Leviathan sea monster along with various chickens for each tendril head on the Leviathan. That image is there in your head. I know you see it as well. So the key antagonist in the first God of War is Ares, who is the God of War. So that will be Fozzie Bear. Fozzie Bear is Ares, God of War. It's a bold casting. But in my mind, there's something really great about a dude being a total menace against Brett Goldstein's Kratos and going waka waka from time to time. That just feels right to me.
Just punctuates a nice long like angry monologue about the nature of war and humanity or whatever with a
100%.
waka waka.
So in God of War 1, there's a point where Ares like grabs this pillar and just javelin throws it out of hell. And it impales Kratos in the chest. And I just imagine Fozzie going, waka waka, and just hucking a javelin out of a layer of hell into Brett Goldstein's chest, which feels right. Hephaestus, the master weaponsmith, the dude that makes all the weapons, that's Mr. Teeth. And I'll tell you why it's Mr. Teeth. He's going to give all your weapons a dope sheen. As Brett Goldstein goes for a weapon upgrade, it's this dude with gold teeth being like, hey, yeah. Or however Mr. Teeth sounds. I don't know. That's in my head.
Wait, hold on. Opening up for Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. It's Brett Goldstein and the Dope Sheen.
Good.
There it is.
Got there.
So the bosses of one of the games is literally Kronos, the Titan of Time. That casting is pretty obvious. That will be Beaker. And I want to be clear why it's Beaker. It is Beaker because for the listeners of the show for a couple years, I did cast Beaker as Galactus the last time we did this.
You sure did.
Yeah, and I will not be explaining myself any further. And in that scene, Bunsen will probably be playing a large living clock golem because that feels fine as well. Hermes, the little fast, speedy freak who's the great protector of humans, animal. He zooms in, he zooms out. Sure. He's just a little weirdo. And then the final boss of the most recent God of War game is Odin the Allfather. So we need like the big bad of the series. And that's going to be Sam the Eagle. So Sam the Eagle is the big bad.
Good.
Yeah, dude is stiff as a board, kind of the worst. Easily the Muppet that you'd be asking where he was on January 6th. And so I think that he ends up being the heel of this. Because again, if you're going to have a god at the end who's like, the gods are always right, then it's got to be Sam the Eagle. That feels right. Brett Goldstein will punch him in his face.
All right.
I like it.
I was going to say, hey, can you give us some Fozzie Bear Ares lines? And then you did. And I like that a lot. I love the Waka Waka, and I love the meat mort placement. I think that we're doing great things here. Andrew, give us the cast of your movie, which is, I guess, Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, I came the whole way back around to remembering that, and I'm pretty sad I did.
It's fine. So, like the others, like any good Muppet adaptation, you got to play it straight, right? Like the best kind of Muppet adaptation is just it's the thing, but Muppets. So, Kingdom Hearts, as we all know from the flavor text, one whole glee ago. Kingdom Hearts begins by introducing our main characters that are completely unique to this franchise: childhood friends Sora, Kairi, and Riku. The three of them grew up and live on the remote Destiny Islands, and together dream of leaving their small island to explore far-off worlds. Sora, who's actually played by Gonzo, that's right, Gonzo's going to be the main character here. Sora and Gonzo feel like a good match because Sora is a little bit goofy, a little bit weird, uncomfortable in his own skin, and part of his arc is growing and learning about who he is and his place in the world.
Well, and just the giant phallic nose, too.
And just the giant phallic nose. The big shoes also really fit.
Yeah.
And he's the heart of the group, right? So Sora and Riku are caught in this little pubescent love triangle with the only girl who lives on the island, Kairi. Kairi will also be played by Camilla the Hen, for reasons shown earlier. And much like in the Muppet lore, the two of them have this little love triangle, and Sora and Riku have like a little frenemy rivalry. Also, Riku is going to be portrayed by Academy Award nominee Adam Driver.
Perfect. Honestly, inspired casting.
I had to think about like, man, who is just insane enough to like match with the Muppets, and I really want to see Adam Driver in a Muppets movie now.
Dude,
Adam Driver as the one human character in a Muppets movie it does just feel right.
It feels right?
That to me is the same level as Michael Caine in Muppets Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Exactly the same energy. Yep.
Yeah.
So again, you guys remember the story. One day a massive storm hits the islands. Sora, Riku, Kairi, all torn away from each other by this big tidal wave. Sora is swarmed by this army of shadowy creatures as he gets this magical sword that suddenly appears in his hand. It's also a key. It's a big old key because it's a Disney game. Sora is pulled into the encroaching darkness and finds himself on the other side in the mysterious world of Traverse Town. Meanwhile, we're introduced to King Mickey's head of guard. The two of them are searching Traverse Town for their king. Sora encounters them. One, Donald Duck, who's played by Kermit the Frog, and Goofy, who's played by Fozzie Bear. Now you're thinking, Andrew, you just said Donald Duck. I did, but here's the thing. Donald Duck is not Donald Duck in Kingdom Hearts. He's just Donald, so it's fine.
Good.
It's all fine. So Kermit the Frog is just Donald. So the three of them team up and they search for the king, as well as Kairi and Riku, and they keep fighting more of those shadowy creatures. Now, while they're in Traverse Town, Sora and team meet up with iconic characters from Squaresoft's Final Fantasy series. We get Squall from Final Fantasy VIII and Yuffie, Sid, and Aerith from Final Fantasy VII, who are all going to be portrayed by Dr. Teeth in the Electric Mayhem. Check.
Got it.
Dr. T says, hey man, we got these shadowy creatures. They're called Heartless. You gotta go kill them. They're drowning the world in darkness. TM. Now, Sora, as the wielder of the Keyblade, Dr. Teeth explains, has the power to fight back the darkness and lock the gates that allow the Heartless to infiltrate the worlds. And so, with Donald and Goofy, aka Kermit and Fozzie at his side, the three of them set out to save the worlds with the power of friendship and a big old key. Now, as they go from world to world, they run into iconic Disney characters of movies that Disney is trying to promote at that time. One of the worlds, we always got to have Hercules World. So when they go to Hercules World, we'll encounter a fun nod, which is the main protag from Final Fantasy VII, Cloud. And he's going to be our Rizzo the Rat. just to kind of transport you.
Yeah.
What happens is we see, big spiky yellow hair. He's got his big stupid Buster Sword. And he unwraps his mask and he goes, I'm looking for someone. Hades promised to help. I tried to exploit the power of darkness, but it backfired. I fell into darkness, and I couldn't find the light. So as we travel all the worlds, we're
Do you
introduced.
just do this to do Rizzo the Rat monologues, Andrew? No, stop. Do
Yes.
you just,
Yes, Todd.
when you hear
Andrew slipped
A
Matt a
Muppet
20
episode.
to do a Muppet episode.
I gave myself subquests today, and goddamn it, I will do my subquests. Thank you.
Andrew's
So, as
hitting
we
his dailies, let him go.
I gotta do my
Yeah.
dailies. So as we travel the worlds, we're introduced to our Act 1 villain. The Heartless are being led by Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty. Now this one I really like. This is Miss Piggy. And I like this because Miss Piggy would be a kick-ass Maleficent.
Yeah.
But also I like Miss Piggy not in just the love interest character. Because I had her as Kyrie and I was like, that's boring, that's not fun. But I really like Miss Piggy being like the big bad in control of all the little shadow demons. Now, together with her goon, motherfucking Pete from Goof Troop, who will be Pepe the Prawn. Pepe from Goof Troop. They have gone to each world and they've kidnapped the princesses of Felt to drown the universe in darkness and gain access to Kingdom Hearts. Now, this hits home with Sora because we also learn that, of course, one of those princesses is Kyrie. More importantly, though, Maleficent also has a Keyblade wielder of her own, who's none other than Riku. Once again, I need to remind you, this is Adam Driver. So Adam Driver has been succumbed to the darkness by Miss Piggy, tricked by Miss Piggy into believing he is saving Kyrie, who is being played by a puppet chicken. With me so far? Great. Now, at the story's climax, Sora finally catches up with Riku. The two have their climactic battle. Sora is defeated and turns into a Heartless, but through the power of friendship, he comes back and other stuff happens. And we learn that Riku is actually being possessed the whole time by a man named Ansem. Who is Ansem? We literally don't have time, Matt. Stop asking.
Nobody was. Nobody did. No one ever will again, actually.
But the only thing that does matter is that Ansem is the second act villain. And once he dissipates from Riku's body, he appears in JRPG god form and says darkness a lot. Now, I think it would be great to have Ansem portrayed by the Swedish Chef. And the only bullet under that is, ooh, dork, dork, dork.
Good.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. So after the final battle with all 8 fucking forms of Ansem, Sora, Donald, and Goofy finally find Kingdom Hearts. And who is on the other side of the door? Well, it's Mickey Mouse, aka King Mickey himself. And this, guys, this is where we blow the whole thing wide open. In the post-credits reveal, we show the big guy himself, King Mickey, portrayed by Big Bird. That's right. We're pulling in the Sesame Street universe, guys.
Andrew.
You got Black Bolt. That's crazy.
Yeah,
the
man.
Inhumans are here.
Black Bull. Lockjaw was on screen for 10 seconds and teleported Big Bird in.
Oh, man.
So there you go. That's Kingdom Hearts.
Hey, Andrew, this sucks. I hate this. We're always really cool to each other, but I hate this.
Yeah, man. Can I ask you a really like an honest question because I don't remember. Is that all Kingdom Hearts 1? All that lore
Yeah.
you just did? God, that sucks so bad, bro.
I know. There, two things really dawned on me. I wrote that in 10 minutes. Now that should alarm you for a few reasons.
My brother in Christ.
Yeah.
My brother, and it's not okay
Yeah.
over here. I remember
Andrew, my good
I
real
know.
life friend who I
I
care
know.
deeply
This is a
about.
cry
I need
for
you to
help.
let me know if you're actually in need of help.
I'm telling you, I'm not okay. I remembered much more about this stupid fucking game than I realized I did.
Man,
Yeah.
Man.
that's how they get you, brother.
how they
That's
get you.
just really something. Okay.
R.I.P.
Moving on from that. If there's one thing that Muppet movies and existing video game media have in common, it's their reliance on catchy earworms and musical numbers. My favorite part of the Borderlands movie is when they did a musical number, probably. I don't know. I haven't seen that movie. Anyway,
No one's seen that movie.
what big moment from your story is going to be the show-stopping musical number, and what is that song called, Kyle?
Matt, I'm glad you asked because an aspect of the Ocarina of Time story that I did not mention in question 1, so that I could mention it here, is that it also heavily features songs at very specific story beats throughout the game. So too will our movie. It's not going to have one big musical number. It's going to have a handful of them. We're going to have Soraya's song. We're going to have the Song of Storms. We're going to have Eponia's song. It's all going to be in there. But I know you want the big show-stopping end of Act 1, take us into Act 2 number, and I've got you covered, Matt. It is going to be, we're gonna write Muppet-ass lyrics for the Song of Time. When Link ages up 7 years is gonna be our Act 1 finale, One Day More / all the other songs we heard before this, as we remind you the cast of characters and Muppets that we have met up until this point. It's all going to be wrapped up in the Song of Time.
Man, I love Song of Time as the One Day More reprise. That's
that
honestly really inspired.
Yeah.
And I really like that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
Real quick, knowing how much I loved Ocarina of Time and the different guardians you have to collect, there is something really beautiful about the different guardians are all just Muppets around you.
Yeah.
As they like create the Rainbow Bridge to go fight Dave Bautista.
Yeah, man.
And then they sing a reprise as you walk across the Rainbow Bridge to Ganon's castle at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's fun.
That's really good. Okay. I like that a lot. Todd, what is your show-stopping musical number?
Yeah, it's a big budget production. We're putting a lot of money behind this. Mostly, most of the sunk cost is in floors with cutaway grooves so we can have arms and puppets, but we will have the royalties covered. So long before the climax of Brett Goldstein's Kratos fighting Sam the Eagle's Odin, we're going to have this like dramatic tune that just doesn't fully resolve until the ending. And so it'll begin in like the opening emotional crawl where we see Kratos's tragic backstory with this soft version of the song that will ultimately replay again in the final confrontation in this like dramatic buildup a la like the Robert Pattinson Batman style, like, you know, music they did for the trailer. And that's going to be a rendition of Joan Osborne's 1995 hit One of Us, better known as What If God Was One of Us? And wow, that's going to just swell dramatically in the final confrontation. Then we'll end in this like much more soft as the dust settles, kind of like the final fight with Brett Goldstein's Kratos in his unfulfilled quest for his revenge because he doesn't find peace after he kills Odin. Honestly, the inspiration of this came from the Austin Powers scene where he's playing it on a tiny little piano as Mimi. And I was like, I want an emotional version of What If God Were One of Us? Because that feels right.
You know, if I had to describe Kratos, I would call him a stranger on a bus just trying to make his way home. So,
just trying to make his way home.
Yeah.
Honestly, Matt, that's a bit more on the nose that I think we can all really grasp right now.
Oh, man. Okay. Look, I don't want to platform Kingdom Hearts again, but I
legally have to.
Required to by my contract. So, Andrew, go ahead.
Matt, who can forget the game's certified banger of a main theme, simple and clean? You turn on the PS2, you load up a new game, and you hear it immediately jammed from the speakers in that opening cutscene. We gotta lead with that. We have to do the song justice and show the proper love and care. So we're gonna have Animal and the rest of the Electric Mayhem cover the song. When you walk away, please, God. Oh baby. Now, in addition to when you talk about iconic moments, and there's a lot of iconic moments from Kingdom Hearts, but I think to me, the biggest thing that really sticks out, the biggest surprise is, spoiler, the end game super boss battle with Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII. So you go through the whole game, you beat all the stuff, you get all the magic, all whatever, all the abilities, and you do all the arena challenges, and the very last one is like question mark. And coming through for the first time ever, you see coming through the Olympian gates is Sephiroth, and he's got the big anime wing, and he's got his huge Masamune sword that's like 4 feet long, and then starts to play his iconic themed One-Winged Angel. Right? You know what I'm talking about. So what is probably the most important casting decision is we're going to have Sephiroth played by Beaker. And not only is Beaker going to portray Sephiroth, he's also going to perform the classic theme. Meep, 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 meep.
Good.
Yeah. All right.
Is Beaker gonna have long white emo
He sure
hair
is, Kyle.
and one angel wing and a
One wing.
Incredible.
One anime wing.
an impractically long anime sword?
Good. Yeah.
Good.
Beaker as Sephiroth's pretty great. God, that's really good. All of these are really good. I love what we're doing here. I want to wrap it up and put a bow on it that I can take back to the execs. My super secret bonus question for you today, and I will take your answers right after the break. Give me the title, give me the tagline. I'll hear it right after this. Hey guys, I found a new podcast and I want to tell you all about it. It's called Candy is Dandy.
Candy is dandy. Candy is dandy. Are you talking about Candy is Dandy, the world's only podcast devoted entirely to reviewing candy?
If he is, I think I've heard of that. Because in each episode, they pick a different candy and then they give its history and taste and review it on air.
You're going to love this. We talked about horses on our podcast before. They did an episode on Snickers and found out it was named after a horse. Horse content everywhere.
We do love a smattering of horse content. We also love that they found a connection between Butterfingers and the atomic bomb.
No way. You know, I heard that one time they tasted way too many peach rings with Carl Tart of Comedy Bang Bang.
If you love candy, then you're going to love Candy is Dandy.
I think so.
Hey, and listen, if you're trying to find Candy is Dandy, the Candy Review podcast, it's anywhere that podcasts are found. Name a place where you listen to podcasts. It's there. It's there too. It's everywhere.
Candy is Dandy, the world's only candy review podcast. Welcome back. I am ready to hear title and tagline for your Muppets adaptation. Kyle, Ocarina of Time, what are we calling it?
Well, Matt, the key to naming a Muppets adaptation is just slapping the Muppets in front of the adaptation. However, with our change of cast here, it is important to note that just like our cast members have changed, so too will our magical musical instrument. So this is going to be The Muppets Legend of Zelda, the Banjo of Time, as our popular lead character's signature instrument is not an ocarina in this case, but a banjo.
Look, I don't have a lot of complaints there. I like it. Any tagline?
Oh, yes. Tagline, the rebirth of some legends and a true frogs challenge.
Excellent. Perfect. All right.
That's good.
Pretty good.
Todd, over to you. Give me the title of your Muppets God of War adaptation.
Yeah, so the title of this adaptation is God of War : Ragnaraka Waka. That will be the title. And the tagline is The Muppets Take Mount Olympus.
Good.
Because that feels pretty good.
Yeah, that is pretty good. One more time, can I get that title?
Would love to. We'll get it clean here. God of War: Ragnaraka Waka. Listen, I don't know, man.
It's incredible. All right, Andrew, finish it up. Give me the title and tagline of your Kingdom Hearts Muppets movie.
So everybody knows a good Kingdom Hearts title has a title and a subtitle and a colon and then a subtitle to the subtitle. So our title is going to be as follows. Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Birth by Meep, a fragmentary passage.
Birth by Meep.
How many Kingdom Hearts titles do you think you could string together like that as Muppet puns?
Dude, do you want to guess the longest amount of time that I spent on this? That because I was trying to do Dream Drop Distance, Dream Felt Meep Morp Distance. Nope, that's nothing. 358 by 2 days, 358 by 2. Nope. Birth by Meep. There we go. And that's where that was.
Birth by Meep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Birth by Meep.
Thanks. Glad you could catch up, Todd.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Todd.
That's really good.
A fragmentary
God,
passage
I
is
fucking
what
hate that.
I know. Fragmentary passage was the
It's a Fraggle Rock reference, right?
Well, I just said a fragmentary passage, but fragmentary passage is what the actual game is called.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's why this is so hard, because the titles are also very
Rock reference, just to be clear. We don't know that it isn't.
We'll never know.
You just throw that second G in there for that.
Yeah.
For that one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It just doesn't mesh well in an audio format. And I did have Muppets Take the Mouse, but Todd's is a better take on Muppets Take Manhattan. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna stick with
Muppets Take Mount Olympus is it's too good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't fight that.
All right. Well, closing statements here. Wrap it up. I've heard titles. I've heard taglines. I don't need anything catchy. Just give me, a final justification. Why is your adaptation the one that should be made? Kyle.
Everything I said up till now, Matt, Ocarina of Time has musical numbers. It's got a straightforward good versus evil hero's journey story, memorable characters, and a whole lot of Muppets.
A whole lot of Muppets. All right. Todd, over to you.
Yeah, the one thing I didn't talk about is a really, really important casting, and I wanted to save it till this moment. In God of War, the game that I'm talking about that I absolutely remember the name of, that in the most recent one, the very first boss and huge monologue you deal with is a character named Baldur. And I want to be clear, he's an immortal fighter. He does a lot of monologuing, and it's a really long fight. He will be played by the Swedish Chef. So in the movie, there will be an incredibly long monologue fight with the Swedish Chef, which is basically him going bork, 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 bork for 10 minutes of a monologue fight. And that's what you can look forward to in this movie.
Will there be subtitles translating the monologue?
You know what? No. It's better.
You just got to pick it up.
You have
from
to be a
context.
native speaker.
Incredible.
The director's cut, though, will be fantastic. The director's cut will have a lot of explanation about what was being said.
Good.
All right. Andrew, finish it up.
Matt, much like the Muppet Christmas Carol is kind of an on-ramp for kids to get into classic literature, this is meant to be an on-ramp for people to get into classic JRPGs. Because why would you not want to hear amazing line deliveries such as, "I'm not interested what becomes of this world. Besides, you and the others should be enough to handle things. I'm looking for Sephiroth."
I did not forget how much of our first Muppets episode was carried by your Rizzo the Rat as Rorschach impression. And honestly, I'm glad it's back. I close my eyes at night
Blood in the
sometimes.
streets.
And I hear
Blood in
you
the
say,
streets.
"Doc Ock is in the streets." It's
There it
crazy.
is, that's
It's
it.
in there forever.
Yeah.
Geez. Okay. Well, I'm going to reach out to the execs over at Big Movies, and we're going to figure out which adaptation we're funding. Why don't you guys give each other some good vibes?
Yeah, Todd, God of War is another good adaptation for the Muppets. It's got a lot of characters and a lot of archetypical roles that you can just slot Muppets into. And Ragna Waka Waka is
really fucking good, Todd.
Is as funny as it is hard to say. So great job. And Andrew, I saw you got Kingdom Hearts put in here first, and I saw that and just knew I had to up my game from whatever I previously had, because that is also so good. Just swapping out one IP for another in a Kingdom Hearts game makes so much sense. It feels like they should have done it already. Like we should have gotten a different IP swap from Disney to something else in Kingdom Hearts already. So great inspired work.
Thank you.
Kyle, doing Ocarina of Time is really good. For some of the same reasons that you picked, you said mine was good, but, classic, good versus evil, really, really fun. Honestly, the thing that I love most is a non-verbal character like Link being played by Kermit, because all I can think about is Link making falling noises, or but when he falls, it's just Kermit flailing his arms a whole bunch, doing the Kermit, yay! yay noise, and that's really, really good.
I really want to see like when Link opens the chest, it's like da 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 yay!
Yeah, man, it's really, really funny. I thought that was really, really good. Andrew, what you did is like a hat on a hat, but then there's another hat and the hat's holding a keyblade, and you did that to us today.
Kingdom Hearts is already kind of a hat on a hat.
Yeah,
Man. As I looked through in the notes where you started putting like some of your casting, I was like, okay, yeah, that's right. Sora. Oh, wait, that's right. This line says Goofy as Fozzie Bear. Okay, that's a fucking sentence. So, you know what? I was gonna dunk on this, but I want to say this is brave. This is brave, and you're taking Kingdom Hearts to the next level. That I think we made a joke a long time ago that now that Disney owns Marvel, we're just one Kingdom Hearts away from seeing Iron Man work with Hercules to fight
sucks.
Pete from Goof Troop. And this just feels like you softened the blow for what's to come later.
I live in a world, I hope to live in a world where we get a Kingdom Hearts game where Black Widow shoots Pete from Goof Troop with a real gun. That's what I want.
And then Kermit the Frog goes, yay!
No, see, I want a spiky-haired anime boy to kill Thanos with a keyblade. That's
better.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
Porque no los dos.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Fair enough.
I think the perfect formula for Muppet adaptation is something that is grim or something that is very high fantasy. And you both did exactly that. And you figured out, you put all the cogs in the right place. Kyle, Ocarina of Time is a very good answer. I really like it. I really like Kermit as Link. I really like the overall. I think it's smart to do that kind of like heroic epic with the Muppets. Cause again, like the Muppets are best when played straight.
Yes.
Right. And the Guardians that are constantly singing show tunes at you is really inspired work.
Thank you.
Todd, similarly, here's why your answer is really funny to me. What's the action like? How's Brett Goldstein gonna voraciously murder these Muppet
don't
gods?
Don't look too deep into this. I thought about that a lot after I made this decision, and maybe we'll talk more about it in the post show. But I don't have a good answer for that because God of War famously known for incredibly brutal deaths of these gods.
Yeah, none of the gods live, and they all get. I mean, at least one of them gets literally ripped apart.
Right. When he fights Kronos, I think to wound him, he rips off his fingernails just to get his attention. So that'll transfer well to Muppets, I think.
Yeah.
Awesome. I want to give you guys all some good vibes because this was awesome and great and just as much fun as the first time we did a Muppets episode. I also want to throw out some good vibes to the folks who filled out our listener survey at the end of last year. Because this was the most requested thing for us to do. And people were really excited for another Muppets episode. So thank you to everybody who asked us to do this and gave us the opportunity to get more unhinged Rizzo the Rat quotes out of Andrew. That was great and awesome, and I loved it a lot. I do need to make a decision, and I am back with some information. So thing number one, Andrew, it's not going to be you. And I'll tell you what, it's got nothing to do with the plot of your story. And I think that says a lot. It also doesn't have anything to do with your casting. It is simply that Disney refuses to like let those two condiments touch, right? Like they told us they're not interested in putting the Muppets in Kingdom Hearts because the physics of the Muppets is too hard to animate in video game form and they don't want to do it. So you know, they knew if they put it in the movie, they would have to do a game about it, and they don't want to. That leaves us with Todd and Kyle. And I gotta be honest, Kyle, your Kermit as Link impression did a lot of heavy lifting today, and I think you win because of that. I think you do.
Fair.
Todd, God of War as the Muppets is really funny. I really like Brett Goldstein as Kratos.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Mm-hmm. Brett Goldstein is just generally another, like, he needs to be in a Muppet movie too.
Yeah.
He sure does.
That's a good single person casting.
Yeah. Brett Goldstein is one of those people who, like, he could pull off him and his imaginary character in a buddy cop comedy movie pretty easily. And I just like that vibe a lot. Honestly, couldn't get around the brutal deaths of the gods. Just didn't know how we were going to make that happen.
My God, it's the biggest hang up, and I completely understand.
Yeah. And that really just leaves us with Kyle today. You are the winner. You are the best Muppet adapter. Thank you for all that you have done to us. We appreciate it.
I'd like to thank the Muppets.
Consider them thanked. We'll pass it along.
Couldn't have done it without them.
And I also want to say thank you to you for listening to Debate This. You can follow along with our arguments on Threads, Facebook, and Instagram at Debate This Cast, or on our website at debatethiscast.com. Hey, have you ever come to the end of an episode like this and found yourself wondering, man, I really like listening to Debate This 3 out of every 4 Tuesdays each month. I just wish I could somehow turn that 3 into a 4. Well, I have great news for you. It's called the Debate This Premium Feed. And it's available right now through our Patreon at patreon.com/debatethiscast. Subscribe for the low price of $5 a month. It'll get you all current and past episodes of our exclusive Patreon show, Deconstructed, which by the time this comes out, we should have already talked about the last movie that we did, which I was going to bring up and now don't remember. What movie did we just talk about?
We just watched
Alley Cat Strike.
Alley
Cat Strike. Yeah, so Alley Cat Strike should be the most recent one of those. It's 75% cheaper than your standard issue battle pass. No grinding necessary. Until next time, I'm Matt Cole.
I'm Kyle. I don't have a joke for this yet. Harper. I'm Kyle. I am Kyle. Prelude of Felt Harper.
I'm Todd. Sweet Kermoot is my favorite dark liquor, Thomas.
And I'm Andrew. Someday we'll find it. The Rainbow Connection, the Heartless, the Nobodies, and me, Henderson.
Oh, that's good.
Damn it.
Jesus.
And we're saying thanks for debating with us. And if you think we're wrong, you can come fight us behind the swing sets, nerds.